Hello friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're enjoying the instruction and information that I'm giving you. So today we're going to be talking about the origins of the Suzuki Method and how you can decide if the method is right for you. So the Suzuki Method was founded by Shinichi Suzuki in the early 1900s. Dr. Suzuki did play the violin, and in fact his family owned a violin making factory in Japan. One day, Dr. Suzuki had a revelation that all Japanese children learn to speak Japanese. He felt that this language is very, very complicated, and yet every single child born in Japan could speak it. And the same with children born in Paris or children born here in the US. We all learn how to speak our native language. So from this revelation, Dr. Suzuki realized two things. First of all, the best way for a child to learn is by ear. We learn to speak our language by listening to others speak. Our brain discerns what sounds are actually part of the language and what sounds are just extraneous noise, such as the rain or a dishwasher or something like that. And two, there is no such thing as talent. All children, regardless of their circumstances, their parents, regardless of anything, learn to speak their language. This means that children are capable of learning anything. Now at the time, this was a very radical way of thinking. Dr. Suzuki managed to convince a school to let him try this experiment out. Basically, he taught them everything by ear and went in very, very slow chunks and only moved on once the student showed proficiency in the previous area. This was a huge success. Yes, it took some children a little bit longer to learn the same types of materials, but every single child was successful. Eventually, Dr. Suzuki created his own school of talent education, and the results were widely popular. There's a reason that we still use this method today. Teachers traveled from far and wide to work with Dr. Suzuki and learn this incredible method. So now let's talk about if the Suzuki method is right for you. So I believe if you have a child learning the violin, the Suzuki method is the only way to go, in my opinion. Starting children young will give them a better chance of developing these skills earlier, but it does require a significant commitment on the parents' part. The parents are the at-home teachers that are monitoring their child's practice and progress for the first few years of their journey. I can't stress enough to you how important parent involvement is. Listening is also incredibly important. Listening to the CD every day so the child knows the pieces and knows the standard that they're looking to achieve. If you're going to have your child learn in the Suzuki method, I highly recommend finding a good Suzuki trained teacher in your area and making sure that they demonstrate all the values of the Suzuki method, such as listening and parent involvement. This is definitely a commitment, but it will really pay off. A lot of great violinists, including Hilary Hahn and Ray Chen, were Suzuki students. Another great thing about the Suzuki method is that it is so widely used. There's a lot of opportunities for children to make friends with other kids who are in the Suzuki method. There are a lot of summer camps hosted every year where your student can go and meet new teachers and meet new friends. So now let's talk about if the Suzuki method is right for you when you are learning as an adult. So when I teach adult students, I definitely do modify my methods for them. I do not think that the way you teach a child the Suzuki method will be effective for an adult student. For example, I do not as heavily rely on listening. I don't ask that my students listen to the CD every single day. Of course, I do want them to listen to the piece and be familiar with it, but that's not their primary way of learning at this point. So I think one of the most difficult parts about the Suzuki method and learning as if you're an adult is if you're learning without a teacher. So each Suzuki piece has very specific skills that are being learned and worked on, and they're not always obvious. Before I took my teacher training, I couldn't even identify what some of these pieces were working on. So if you're going to go for the Suzuki method, I do highly recommend working with a teacher. If that's not possible for you, I have all of the teaching points for book 1 here up on my channel, and if you check over on my Instagram at Suzuki Violin Teacher, I'm currently up to book 3 now with all the teaching points, so that can definitely help you on your journey. So for the adults with me, it's really all about the skills. Once the student has the skills down that are being taught in the piece, then we are ready to move on. I've had a lot of questions like, does the piece have to be fully up to tempo before you move on? And in my personal opinion, no. I think it's more important to just keep going, and then as you come back and review your pieces, then you can get them up to tempo. When you're an adult, finding the right teacher is also so crucial. You need someone that will work with you on your specific goals and will also help you on your journey. The other books, the other method books such as, Essential Elements or All for Strings, I don't necessarily have any problem with them. I think that they work on different skills. So for example, the Suzuki method is not very comprehensive when it comes to learning to read music. You definitely need to supplement for that. I recommend the I Can Read Music books if you're a complete beginner learning how to read music, and then after that you can go on to the Wolfart Foundation Studies. But in other books, they really do heavily focus on learning how to read music and music notation, and if that's your goal, then maybe one of those other method books would be better for you. I feel like the Suzuki method is right for you if you're an adult, if you really want to excel, if you want to know that what you are doing is going to set you up very well from the very beginning and propel you forward, even if it is a little bit slower at first. The Suzuki method is right for you if you want to learn skills, not just pieces. And again, I would highly recommend working with a teacher if possible, if you are using the Suzuki method. But if that's not possible, you can definitely check out my YouTube here and my Instagram. So I hope this answered all your questions about the Suzuki method and helped you figure out if it was the right method for you. If you have any questions at all about the Suzuki method, please go ahead and drop me a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching.